past generations would condition their children into believing I raised you, so you owe it to me to keep me in your life. Answer when I call you, come home for Christmas.
This compassion has helped me a lot with the older generation, because as we get more tools, our generation, I was born in 1986, like the tools and the access to knowledge has literally transformed in my lifetime and in our lifetime. And I think we're probably the generation that's hardest on our parents.
Oh, for sure.
Because we've made the biggest jump in our lifetime. Like the massive amount of knowledge in our lifetime is just insane. And it's hard on, people that didn't come from an age of the internet and only ever had access to what their parents taught them. Like, depending on what village you grew up in, what city, what town, what knowledge your parents had access to, there wasn't a whole lot of ability to gain knowledge unless you went to a good college or somehow through the conduit of like book clubs, you were able to get access to new books or new ideas. It was really difficult. And there wasn't Amazon to just order every book before the internet. It was like kind of whatever got recommended to you. So yes, some people found their way out if they were working hard enough to find new knowledge, but it was really difficult. And I think having compassion on that and understanding on like my parents, but the thing is, compassion isn't access. So like,
hey friends, wanted to interrupt you really quick to let you know that if you're looking to go deeper into your healing journey or just want support, I offer coaching services for women and Dave coaches men.
So feel free to go to the link in our bio and book a call with us. We'd love to meet you. And if you're enjoying this episode, please tap that subscribe button.
And now back to the show.
I can be really compassionate on somebody who has abusive tendencies. I can be really compassionate on somebody who's, if your partner has a sex addiction, you can be really compassionate on them. That doesn't mean you're going to allow them access to you until they resolve that or whatever it is for you. Like, compassion doesn't equal access, but it does equal a posture in your heart towards that person and a clearing of resentment. And that's the bridge to the inner peace. Because when you have that compassion, you don't have to hold anger. I don't hold anger at my dad for, his life.
Yeah, I think that's all kind of an interesting thing, or that's all an interesting dynamic that we're currently seeing play out with the rise of therapy and the rise of psychology becoming more mainstream knowledge, and these tools being mainstream knowledge of like even boundaries. And in the past generations would really condition their children into believing I raised you, so you owe it to me to
keep me in your life.
Keep me in your life.
Yeah.
Answer when I call you, come home for Christmas, be at my birthday party, whatever it is that specific person is like saying their expectations are. The older generation tried to condition that because I raised you, you need to meet my expectations. And the new generation is going,
nah.
No, you chose to have me. That was your choice. And I will give to you as far as it is safe for me to give. And if you are not a safe person, I will put boundaries in place. And the old generation is like, if they're not doing their work, that it's creating a ton of conflict and it's widening this gap of separation. And they're like, my kids are ungrateful for everything I've done. And the kids are like, yeah, when I come home and see you, you're low-key abusive. You're triggering me from these behaviors from my childhood that I couldn't stop at the time, and now I can. So you either have to grow and change these behaviors that are harming me, or I'm not going to see you as much. And the old generations are like, this is not how it was supposed to be. And I think that's a large shift that's playing out right now. I see it in a lot of my friends' relationships with their parents. And I think there's a lot of interesting conversations on social media about it. It was fascinating. There's this woman on TikTok who has an entire TikTok dedicated to her sons being estranged from her and how wrong it is. And
No way.
oh, it's so fascinating. And she like talks about the behaviors that she does that, like, if you have any awareness or read into psychology, you're like, oh my God, this is the most abusive behavior. And she like says it and she's like, and then my sons don't want to see me. Like, this is wrong.
Is she like blown up?
Yeah, and she doesn't care. She's like very stuck in her ways, and all the comments are like, I see why your sons don't want to talk to you.
I think this is a really interesting topic we kind of stumbled into, but it has to do with compassion because, like, I mean, I do think, talk about two people that don't see each other's side right now. It's such a big gap in how we were raised, you know, and just and you talk about exactly that, like up until our generation, I don't know if really the world or society would give someone permission for being estranged, where now it's completely okay. There's this huge gap, and it's this great, I mean, I think it's like this great release, but it's also a lot of accountability because how we raise them will determine how much time they spend with us later. So like they say, the biggest reward you get from like being a good parent is how much your kids want to see you in adulthood, but not are expected to, not obey the society duty of being around their parents. It's this great release, really, of the burden of, if your parents didn't treat you right, you're not obligated to then, you don't owe your parents anything. They chose to have you. Like, what does a kid owe their parent? You know, I would say if you have good parents, you want to be there. You want to take care of them. Like, I want to see my mom. I don't want to not have a relationship with her. I love my mom. But, you know, I think everyone has that like tolerance for how much they want to be in their parents' life, and they're kind of becoming aware of that and taking inventory, and it's this great divide. And so the difference in, you know, stories, the difference in how they were raised, the gap is so big. So what is the bridge? The bridge is compassion.